Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 21 video where today we are going to be discussing and I'm going to be explaining to you my journey and how I became an elite player, because I know it's something that gets covered a lot. So I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions. I know it's a question I get asked a lot by people. How do I get better? What's the best way to go and how do I go about it? So I wanted to share my journey today on how I became an elite player, consistent elite player. Now, the first thing to note is that obviously most people nowadays are no money spend, free to play account road to glory. Most people don't want to spend money on this game, and I commend anyone who does that. I am one of those people myself. I do not spend money on this game. I haven't spent any money on this game since about FIFA 17, but with not spending any money, it brings its own challenges. Obviously, trying to accumulate coins is difficult for some people. This year, more than any, it is very, very easy to generate a lot of coins. And that brings me to the first point, becoming an elite player, is learning to trade. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, how the hell does learning to trade help me become a better player? Now, how it helps you is it helps you accumulate more coins, which then allows you to then buy better players. And obviously, having better players will allow you to perform better in Weekend League, for example. Now, this is the squad that I run with at the minute. A pretty good squad, as you'd say. You could argue this is a very good meta squad. You can see we had about 1.6 million coins. My account, I've got about total, invested as well. I've got about 3.4 million coins liquid. So I could really improve this team if I need to. But trading is super important because, like I said, I've got 3.5 mil that I could put into this team. I'm looking to purchase Eusebio at the minute to be a new striker for me. But I could easily buy, 4 or 5 icons at sort of 600-700k a piece and have like half an icon squad here. But having better players will help you in Weekend League, because that's not to say that people can't have a bad squad. Let's say I saw a guy who recently the other day who was playing with sort of the Eredivisie card, Baumgartel and guys like that, and he managed to get elite. So if you're an exceptionally good player, you can get elite. You don't need the top players, but having the top players, the Cruyffs, the guys like that, the Vieiras, the Ferdinands, they will make it easier for you to get elite. And the way you do that is obviously if you have a better team, which comes from trading. So the thing to do with trading is to find methods that work for your style. Now, for me, I don't trade, I invest. Now, the difference between trading and investing, trading means you're actually sitting there flipping cards. Investing is you buy stuff and you sell it at a later date. I don't have time to trade, so I invest, and it works very, very well for me. But it's about finding a method that works, finding a couple of methods that work, and then just rinse and repeating them every week, and you can make hundreds of thousands of coins this year on FIFA. So learning to trade is a massive one. It will help you buy the better players in the game and really advance your club further in that regard. The second thing is actually on the custom tactics section now, is game plans. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't do. Now, you can see my 4 game plans are set. We have the 4-2-2, which is my #1 go-to formation, and that is also the third point as well. And it is sticking to one formation and building around that. Now, I like to play in the 4-2-2. For me, this is the best formation in the game. And these tactics, they're the same ones we used in that 4-2-2 video a couple of days ago. And this 4-2-2 suits me super well. You can see, Mendy, Varane, Van Dijk, Bellerin. That's a super meta backline. Alan and Sissoko falling behind the power curve a little bit, but doing a really, really nice job. But then got Neymar and Owen up top, and then Mane and Mole on the wing. So finding a formation that you really like is super important, because if you're flip-flopping formations, you never get used to like the patterns, and that's why players are important as well, because you never get used to the patterns and the runs that certain players make. You got to try and stick to one formation and really be consistent with it. I've used this 4-2-2 since the beta, for a long time now, and that's why I'm so good with this formation, because I've used it so long. I now know where all the players run. I know the ins and outs of this formation, so sticking to one formation is super important. But those game plans are super important. A lot of people just go into it with one formation, and regardless whether they're winning or losing, if they're losing a game, most people's backup plan is just team press, just D-pad and then hit the left stick and just use the team press. And that's most people's way of playing the game. Or if they're winning the game, they just have their strikers on drop back again on another D-pad. It's really important to have like different game plans. We've got an ultra defensive 5-4-1 for holding on at the end of the games. We've got a 4-3-3-4, which is just if my 4-2-2 is maybe not working, because it's not going to work against every formation. The 4-3-3-4 is just, maybe if it's half time and I'm not quite feeling my current formation, I'll just switch into this for the second half and just see if I can get a spark, just change up the game. And then the 4-2-4 is just kind of like if I need a goal, sort of last 10 minutes of the game. So we've got like situational formations for certain types, and that's what's really important. It's being an elite player is understanding when you need to make a change. If you're someone who just continues on with the same formation, or you just hit team press and just hope that fixes everything, that kind of stinks of a gold player, just like a gold tier player. Someone who can adapt on the fly like we do with these game plans and stuff, that is something that elite players do. They don't just stick into one formation the whole game and just hope that they can grind out a win. Being able to understand when something's not working. It's the same with substitutions. Being able to make substitutions and make the correct substitutions is also part of being an elite player. When it comes to gameplay, owning every mistake is something that's super important. Now, obviously, there's a lot of like AIDS goals that happen in this game. Happens to me as well. But trying to own every mistake, my typical reaction now when I concede a goal, like if I concede an AIDS goal, it's, oh man, really? Did I just concede that? That's so AIDS. But then I'll sit 1 or 2 seconds later, I'll think about the whole play that's just developed, and I'll go, yeah, but I did give it, I made a silly pass at the top end of the pitch, and I conceded off the back of that. And that's something, again, that is elite level, being able to recognize when you made a mistake. If you tried a silly skill move at the top end of the pitch in the attacking third and you got tackled and then countered, and then maybe he takes a shot, your keeper kind of saves it, hits the post, and then it sort of rebounds a little bit in the box, and then he just gets a tap in. Most people will go, oh, look at that AIDS that's just happened in the box, but they'll forget about the silly skill move that they did to give the ball up in the first place. So it's really important that you own and try and take ownership of every mistake, because if you're someone who's just like blaming the game for everything. Now, like I said, there are instances that aids that rebound and all that happens in the box, all of those deflections, and when you make a tackle and it doesn't fall back to you, that is something that you can have frustration at. But you have to remember, did I do something how did I lose possession of the ball? Did I try a stupid skill move? Did I try and pass it to someone that I shouldn't have? And that's where all you can do is control what you can control. And in that regard, if you make a silly pass and give up the ball, all you can do is make sure you don't give the ball away next time around. The deflections, the tackles, all of that's nothing that's in your control. That's going to happen regardless, but all you can do is just control what you can control, and that stuff's just going to happen anyway. So owning every mistake is really, really important. It manages to help as well keep a level head, and that comes up with the next point, is not caring about the losses. And that's one thing that's helped me. Being able to own every mistake means that I've not cared about when I've lost, because I've known that there's things in the game I could have done better. And on top of that, it's kind of really suppressed my need to rage. I haven't raged at all this year, because it's just not caring about losing. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's not that deep. It doesn't really make a huge difference whether I win or lose. At the minute, I'm only playing to sort of goal 3 anyway. Last weekend I hit 14-0, which I haven't done ever before. This week just gone, I was 14-1. I lost to one guy who was just better than me, and that's the thing. Being able to admit when someone's better than me. He's just a better player. He won the game fair and square. It was a close game, but he did definitely deserve to win the game. But because I'm only playing to 14 wins, if I lose one, it's no big deal. It's just kind of like, I'm going to hit 14 anyway. And obviously there'll be some people out there who might be sitting there going, I struggled to get to 14 anyway, and that comes with its own different set of problems. But even so, you shouldn't really be too bothered about the losses, because if you don't hit, let's say, goal 3, who's really bothered? Who does it really affect? Does it really make a difference? And the answer is always no. It's not a huge deal. And it's really made me enjoy the game a lot more. There are still lots of flaws in this game, don't get me wrong, but I've enjoyed playing FIFA a lot this year, and I think that's because I've not been caring, and I've been playing super well because of it. It's really had a massive positive impact in how I've played. I've been playing so much better. And in terms of the game itself, skill moves are super key. The one thing whenever I watch my games back, or when I watch games back that I lose more than the ones I win, I only really watch the games back that I lose rather than the ones I win, because you learn more in the losses than you do in the wins. And I notice in the games that I lose, I don't skill anywhere near as much. This week just gone, it was probably some of the best FIFA I've ever played. I played so well. I was just doing everything super well, and it came from it stemmed from the fact that I was skilling really, really well. My skill moves were so slick. They were so just good. I was good all over the pitch. You know, I was putting the right skill moves in, and I was just skilling really, really well. And that's how I know I'm playing well, if I'm able to skill. And that allows me to play quick. And that is another thing. Playing fast is super important in this game. It's not about counter-attacking, but it's not about like dawdling on the ball. When I know I'm playing bad is I'm not skilling and I'm taking forever to make passes. Like I'm just sort of, sometimes like when you play against low quality opposition, because you get so much time because they don't press you or kind of know what you're doing, you have a tendency to slow down. And I played a guy this week, the guy who actually beat me was probably the best game I've ever played of FIFA, and I lost 4-3, I think, in extra time. And it was the best game I've ever played, and he was so like, he was such a good player, but I had to elevate my level to kind of keep up with him. And I just skilled so well, I was played so quick, and I was like, if I play like that on a weekly basis, Elite 1, maybe even top 100, is possible. But it's that consistency of playing at that level. So skill moves are super key, and making sure you don't dawdle on the ball. In the final third, being able to kind of speed up your play, but having that composure in the box, you know, knowing the right finishes to make, knowing the right skill moves to do is super, super important. But skills and playing quickly are the best two tips for getting better at this game. So they are my kind of tips. They're my top tips on how I became elite. Really, outside of that, I didn't really do anything else. You know, in terms of playing, I wasn't like I've never been a big rival, you know, player. We can show my, like, how many wins I've got on rivals to kind of illustrate that I'm not somebody who really grinds rivals. I don't kind of play, I don't play a lot of rivals, you know, because I don't like playing like the Division 1 sweat lords, you know, on a weekly basis. So it's not kind of my thing. So when we go over to the rivals milestone, you can actually see I've only won 19 games of rivals. I don't play rivals because I don't think it really benefits you, because everybody in rivals, especially in Division 1, just plays drop back. So I think the best thing to do is when you do play is take these tips in. These tips that I've shown you are the ones that I do every single week. I don't do anything else other than that. And other than that, just over time, you pick up certain little skill moves, certain little things here and there from different content creators, and you just add it to your game, you add it to your arsenal, and over time, you just become a very good player. You become an elite player, and that's how I've become an elite player. So hopefully you guys did enjoy these tips, and you can take them away, and they will improve your game, because they've massively helped me out, and I'm still improving now and still getting better with every week that goes by in FIFA. So make sure you do follow these tips and join along with me and improve at this game. And remember, at the end of the day, it is just a game. But that is it for the video, guys. So if you did enjoy, make sure you drop a thumbs up, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well if you are new to the channel. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day,